Mistral just launched Medium 3A. Frontier-class AI model that outperforms GPT-40 and Claude 3.7 Sonnet in coding, languages and even multimodal tasks. While costing a fraction to run, it hits over 90% of Claude's performance for just 40 cents per million input tokens, and runs smoothly on only 4 GPUs. And now that it powers Lay Chat Enterprise with deep integrations, privacy first architecture and no-code AI agents, OpenAI finally has a serious competitor. Coming straight out of Europe, the catchphrase Mistrals' own research blog led with his Medium is the new large, and the company is leaning into that pretty hard. Medium 3 sits between their featherweight small and whatever large surprise they're teasing for later, but don't let the name fool you internally. It's what they call a frontier class model. It delivers performance that lands in the same neighborhood as Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet, Cohere's Command A, Meta's Llama for Maverick, and even OpenAI's freshly announced GPT-40, while pulling that off on a much skinnier compute diet. In plain English, you can wedge this thing into a 4 GPU on-prem rig or spin it up in a cloud VPC and still crank out results that would usually demand far chunkier hardware. Now, the headline number that made everyone raise an eyebrow is the cost benchmarks show Medium 3 reaches more than 90% of Claude Sonnet's overall benchmark score. Yet Mistral quotes just 40 cents per million input tokens and $2,080 per million output tokens when you hit their API. For comparison, Sonnet is listed at $3 per million input and $15 per million output. Some of Mistral's own research material even shows an alternative rate card of $2 per million output, so the exact figure depends on which SKU or deployment path you pick, but either way, you're staring at something in the neighborhood of an 8 times price cut. That's wild in a market where model bills blow up faster than GPU stock on launch day. Performance claims always need receipts, and Mistral came armed on human eval and multiple the 2 coding benchmarks everyone loves to quote. Medium 3 matches or beats Claudenet and GPT-40. Third-party human evaluations from Surge show it winning 82% of coding scenarios against Llama for Maverick and nearly 70% against Cohere Command A. It's not just about code either. POS multilingual tasks at it and you get higher win rates over Llama 4 Maverick. In English 67%, French 71%, Spanish 73%, and Arabic 65% on multimodal reasoning. Numbers like N53 on DocFCA, 0.937 on AI2D and 0.826 on ChartQA pop up impressive, because multimodal is still where many mid-size models all that horsepower turns out to be especially handy for STEM workloads. Medium 3 doesn't lock up while chewing on giant math proofs or engineering docs, and it compiles code fast enough that dev teams in finance, energy and healthcare have already plugged data versions into production pipelines. A couple of those early testers are reportedly letting the model pre-train continuously on proprietary data, then fine-tuning in quick bursts when requirements shift, effectively running an in-house feedback loop without the headache of starting from scratch every time. That adapt as you go angle is part of Mistral's pitch. Don't pick between black box SAS fine-tuning or a DIY deployment, just blend both. Money matters too, and Medium 3 isn't only cheap compared to Anthropic's lineup, it also beats DeepSeek V3, which until now enjoyed the Reputation of being the cost efficiency champ that allows small teams to kick the tires through the API, then graduate to a self-hosted image when the CFO starts breathing down their neck about data residency or vendor lock-in hassle. Even calls Medium 3 a proprietary model. So no MIT-style license, but they've kept everything flexible. Throw it in Mistral platform, light it up on Amazon SageMaker. Or wait a few weeks for IBM Watson X, NVIDIA NIM, Azure AI Foundry and Google Cloud Vertex integrations to go live. Whichever route you choose, the company insists you'll still be able to slide their weights onto your own GPU stack if you want total control. The under the hood strategy is all about hybrid deployments. You can keep inference in a private subnet, slam a low latency tenant in a public region for burst traffic, or fork the entire thing and run it fully on-prem, because we're talking about a French firm operating under GDPR and soon the EU AI Act data governance boxes get ticked pretty aggressively. Audit logs, fine-trained ACLs, memory-based personalization, and the ability to unplug from the cloud completely, all come baked into the architecture that's gold for banks, hospitals, and utilities who live and die by regulations, and that credibility boost lands at the perfect moment, because Medium 3 is already the motor under Lechat Enterprise, the customer F-facing layer that Missile hopes will move it from cool research shop to everyday fixture inside big company workflows. Social media platform delivered exactly what employees wanted, with driving underpass to laser cut your immersive public speaking programs down to minutes. You don't have to, but bolts on everything. A CIO circles in red when they read an AI RFP when you wire it up to Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Microsoft SharePoint, OneDrive, or whatever connector they ship next. It does a single path search across all those silos, then snapshots its sources so compliance knows exactly where each sentence came from. If the file is a 60-page PDF, auto summary schemes the craft, and the model drops links you can audit. The same Medium 3 stack powers a NUD agent builder. Drag a few blocks together, and suddenly the assistant can pull a contract, update the CRM, and ping legal without anyone writing a cron job, because everything sits on Medium 3's cheaper token pricing. Finance teams finally get a clean line item instead of 3 overlapping SKUs. Security is the non-negotiable. Lachey Enterprise will run as SaaS in Mishra's own cloud, but you can flip the switch to a single tenant region, a private VPC, or an on-prem rack, and keep the data inside your firewall. Access controls are inherited from the source app, so a board deck locked to the CFO stays locked. Full audit logs ship out for SOC 2 and ISO paperwork, which matters if you're, say, a French bank living under GDPR and the incoming EU AI Act. That EU angle quietly gives Mistral an edge with customers who are wary of routing sensitive traffic through US clouds or Chinese open weight models. Medium 3 and Lechat Enterprise grab the headlines, but Mistral's catalog is getting crowded. There's Mistral Large 2, its GPT-4 class flagship. Pixtral Large for images, and Docs Codestral for pure code generation. The Liz Ministral Edge models that squeeze onto phones, and the Arabic-focused Mistral Saba. All right, in March they even shipped Mistral OCR, an API that turns any PDF into plain text, so Medium 3 can actually read the stuff. Legal still print. Some models are wide open under Apache 2.0, the newest Higher-end weights including medium 3. Stay proprietary so Mistral can lock down licensed content and offer paid SLAs. That two-track approach is how they square their original openness slogan with the realities of enterprise contracts. If the roadmap feels impatient, look at the cap table. Since June 2023 the company has raised about €1 billion including $112 million seed that was Europe's largest on record. A $415 million Series A led by Andre Horowitz and a $600 million Euro mix of equity and debt last summer that parked the valuation at roughly $6 billion. Microsoft chipped in €15 million and hosts the weights on Azure while Nvidia, Cisco, Samsung and IBM all took smaller slices on the revenue side. Paid API usage and the $14.99 per month LAT Pro plan are growing, but insiders still peg annual sales in the low 8 digits, so scaling fast as existent partnerships help. The French Army press agency AFP letting LAT query every story since 1983. Shipping giant CMA CGM and defense startup Helsing all signed up. Even President Macron